let's get right into today's explainer. We are unpacking the source text on a true local legend, Ottawa Ambaw Fantaye Gabriès, though most folks affectionately called him Gash Ambaw. We're going to trace the life of a man who essentially became a human pillar for the Wello and Wag Araja regions of Ethiopia. If you love a story about how one person's sheer grit and dedication can literally transform a community, you're going to want to stick around for this one.
So, picture this. Over 10,000 people. We're not talking about a routine census number here. We are talking about the staggering number of lives Gasha Ambaw personally saved during the catastrophic 1977 Ethiopian calendar famine. We'll break down exactly how he pulled off this massive rescue operation a bit later, but just keep that number in the back of your mind. It really sets the stage for the kind of impact we're talking about.
Our source text uses this incredible phrase to describe him, the shield and pride of his people. I mean, what a title, right? It perfectly captures his lifelong, totally uncompromising dedication to his community. Before we get into the chronological play-by-play, it's so important to realize that every single leadership role he took on was driven by this fierce, almost parental instinct to protect the folks who relied on him.
All right, let's start at the beginning with Part 1, Early Life and Foundations.
Gash Ambaw was born back in 1923 according to the Ethiopian calendar, right in the heart of Wello, specifically the Wag Araja region, in a village called Famikale. His roots were incredibly spiritual. He went through rigorous church education and actually reached the level of a deacon. But he wasn't just sitting in a classroom, he was a doer. He helped build the local Famikale church from the ground up and kick-started community development projects super early on. It's also where, in 1958 EC, he married Wairo Lemlem Alame Areki. They started a beautiful partnership that would last for 58 amazing years.
Moving right along to Part 2, Public Leader and Hero. When the nation needed defending, Gash Ambaw didn't hesitate for a second. He stepped right up as a commander. He rallied the farmers of Ofla Wareda and led thousands to the front lines in Eritrea. The source document notes he fought in an unbelievable 32 distinct war zones. His bravery was so undeniable that he earned the title of Honorary Major, along with a whole host of medals. He even flew up to Asmara with the president during the famous Red Star campaign to defend the country's sovereignty.
Now that kind of battlefield heroism translated into some serious public trust back home. By San 1968 EC, he was elected as the representative and chairman for his local people. A year later, his growing duties pulled him to the town of Korum. And then, from 1970 to 1978 EC, his popularity just exploded. The public had such total faith in him that he was made chairman of the All Ethiopia Farmers Association for the entire Wello province, running things out of Dessie.
To put that into perspective, the sheer scale of what he was managing was absolutely massive. We're talking 12 entire Arajas and 32 Waredas, places like Gubalafto, Borena, Kemise, all the way up to Lasta and North Wello. He was essentially governing this giant, highly complex region. And the texts point out that he did it all with complete honesty and a really deep love for the public. This massive administrative network he built, it was about to become a literal lifesaver.
Which brings us to Part 3, the 1977 Famine Rescue.
The 1977 EC drought was, frankly, a nightmare scenario. But Gash Ambaw stepped up and orchestrated an insanely complex crisis response. Step 1, he managed to coordinate efforts between the government and massive international NGOs like Save the Children and MSF. Step 2, he set up a huge shelter for displaced folks right where the Korum Hospital stands today. Because of this hyper-organized, lightning-fast action, the source notes he literally prevented the total wipeout of tens of thousands of people in the Wag and Ofla populations.
And he didn't stop at just providing emergency shelter. Seeing all the children left parentless by the famine, he partnered up with the German public and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church to do something about it. Alongside the renowned director Bakura Subuhan Amsalu Subu, they built a massive orphanage branch in Korum. They literally pulled thousands of kids back from the brink of starvation and raised them to become productive citizens. It's absolutely incredible.
Let's look at Part 4, 1983 Change and Vindication.
So after a political reshuffling post-1978 EC, Gash Ambaw actually relocated from the busy hub of Dessie back to his roots in Ofla Wareda. Humbly stepping into a more localized role, he took charge of 25 different farmers' associations, places like Abyo Birhan and Dilbetigil. But his energy didn't drop a bit. He brought that exact same fierce protection against injustice to the local level that he had on the big provincial stage.
Then came 1983 EC, a time of major regime change in Ethiopia. Historically, government collapses are incredibly dangerous for former leaders, who usually face harsh retribution. But when Gash Ambaw was brought before the very people he governed for judgment, they didn't condemn him. No way. Because he'd spent his whole life shielding them from starvation, exile, and injustice, the public unconditionally acquitted him. They released him back into the community with just overwhelming gratitude. It's the ultimate proof of his true integrity.
Which leads us to our final chapter, Part 5, Monasticism and Great Legacy.
For decades, this was a guy known by heavy, commanding secular titles: chairman, honorary major, Atoa Ambaw Fantaye. But in his later years, he totally shifted gears. Driven by his deep-seated faith, he stepped away from the worldly stage, entered a period of repentance, and became a monk. He took on the spiritual name Abba Jebre Yohannes at the historic Haik Estefanos Monastery, finally finding peace after a lifetime of relentless service.
Gash Ambaw passed away on Tir 06, 2016 EC in the town of Koram at the age of 93. He left behind a large family, acting as a father to 10 kids, 6 boys and 4 girls, whom he raised to take on their own big responsibilities. The source text honors him with a really beautiful metaphor, calling him the Warka of Bofla. In Ethiopia, a Warka is this massive, ancient, deeply rooted shade tree. And that hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? He was this compassionate, legendary pillar who gave shelter and strength to absolutely everyone around him.
We've explored a truly incredible source document today, detailing a life defined by war, famine, leadership, and finding ultimate spiritual peace. And it leaves us with one really provocative thought. How will your community remember you? Gash's Ambaw Fantaye gave absolutely everything to make sure his people survived and thrived, and he earned their unconditional love in return. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer on a truly remarkable legacy. Take that question with you and keep learning.